Welcome to my journey with Al, Alzheimer's, and I'm here with my dad, Dr. Charlie Farrell, and we are talking about the journals that he writes for his family members to read about his journey with dementia, and then I read those journals. I interview him about a little bit so that we can raise
Okay,
awareness.
we're ready to go, girl.
All right. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the very first journal entry that my dad gave to all of us. And that was on April 7th, 2021. And so I'm going to read some of that to you, and then I'm going to talk to dad a little bit about it. So it says, today, April 7th, 2021, is the first day of my journey. I had planned to title this My Journey with Dementia, but dementia is a very bland term, whereas Al appears to be a real person. And this is just a side note for those of you that don't know, dementia is an umbrella term that means kind of any of the cognitive impairment diseases that someone could have. So Alzheimer's is underneath that umbrella. So you might hear us use Alzheimer's and dementia. So dad continues, we met this morning in the garage at 4 a.m. Louise, who's dad's partner, and I were on our way to the airport so she could start a long awaited visit to her sister. Something was different. Someone else seemed to be in the car. He appeared to be sitting in my lap. A nice little guy, looked like a teddy bear, which I had as a kid. He didn't speak, but clearly he was placing himself between me and the world I used to live in. It wasn't the same. Louise had moved her car and I had to get around it, but it was difficult. I was confused and not sure which way to turn. Finally, I got the car in the driveway in what seemed to be the right direction, but Al's little head seemed to be in the way. My dad's always written very poetically, and I love his imagery. And it just, I don't know, Dad, to me, it was just so similar to what we hear people talk about. It's just different for you than it was before.
Well, the biggest problem I was having that morning, it was at 4 o'clock in the morning
Right.
and it was dark,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which made it more difficult with Alzheimer's disease. Not only do you have difficulty uh, speaking and remembering, you have a great deal of difficulty putting things in order, which is called
Right.
sequencing. And I have the same difficulties now. Recently, I had to complete my income tax, and I had everything set up in a row, and they were all labeled. And all I had to do was look at the label and put it in an envelope and send it to my uh, uh, person who was going to do the income tax for me.
Mm-hmm.
It took me many minutes just sitting there and looking at a pile to figure out which one to pick up first. It sounds silly, but you lose self confidence in how to make decisions.
Right.
And it's been an ongoing problem for the last few months and even before that. But it's one of the things that happens. And to be as organized as possible and creating an environment where I have to make no more than two choices to do
Right.
anything helps a lot. But that takes a lot of uh, time to set that up. And
Mm-hmm.
I must say, I've shared that with Louise, and she's been extremely helpful in getting stuff out of the way that
Yep.
she's very comfortable with that I can't deal with. So between the two of us, we're making progress.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, I think that that's something that's so helpful for people to know that, sometimes, and it can be hard. I remember, I don't, this was also sometimes hard when we were taking care of mom, that we had to modify the house, right? Get rid of a lot of things because it made it too cluttered, too many decisions. We would offer her maybe like two shirts so she could choose what to wear. And it's, that's why we call it care partners, because you're working together. And I think a lot of people don't know that there's so many changes you could make to your home to make things more accessible. And I notice your office is nice and clean.
You never saw that before, did you?
No, you should see my office. If I turn the camera around the other way. So dad and I both have never had clean rooms, right? Like mom was super clean. You and I are not so much. But I noticed with, you know, with dementia, and then I have ADD. So both types of brains really need stuff organized. And so you can see it. Only a couple choices or
Let me make a comment or so
yeah.
about care partners.
Hmm.
Louise and I are care partners,
Yes.
but that's not a one-way street. It's a
Hmm.
two-way street. I get a great deal of support from her, and it's wonderful. And she has an opportunity while caring for me to feel very good about herself.
Right.
So people talk about caring for a person with dementia, that it's just overwhelming, it takes your life away. Uh, and there's a lot of truth to that. But
Hmm.
there's also, if you decide that that's what your life is going to be, you can get a great deal of satisfaction and joy just from making another person happy. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
working very well, and I have a great deal of confidence that we'll continue to do that.
Right. And that's one of the things that you help care partners with at the Carolyn L. Farrell Foundation for Brain Health, right? Kind of
Sure.
learning how to do that.
Thank you all for spending some time with us and sharing my story with you. I hope it's been helpful. We want this to be an interactive experience.
Go ahead and comment below under the video. And if you have any questions or anything or want to contact us, you can use the email that's on the YouTube channel.
I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.